Now, The Difference. Today's THV at 6.
I'm Craig O'Neill. A man caught in the middle of a fight that started on Facebook is set on fire. BJ Steed has the latest just ahead.
I'm Liz Massey. Tonight, 4 of 5 stolen rodeo horses belonging to Arkansas students found. Details on their condition and the hunt to find the suspects.
I'm Dawn Scott. If you're curious about what the big changes at 4:30 and 6:30 will mean to you, tonight we are breaking it all down. Plus, an update on how road work could affect Thanksgiving travel.
And I'm Wes Moore. Coming up in the Hog Zone, Michael Smith goes one-on-one with his former running backs coach. You don't want to miss it.
I'm Pam McComb.
And I'm Ed Buckner. It's THV in your town. We are in Pine Bluff at Regional Park for a wonderful evening with the enchanted Land of Lights and Legends display. But it's a little cold out here, so I'll have your forecast on when things might change.
And lots of other things going on in Pine Bluff, like the Nature Center and the Arts and Science Museum. We'll have that coming up at 6.
Our top story tonight, police investigating a man set on fire in a McDonald's parking lot. It happened with an off-duty deputy yards away. The alleged attacker, now in custody, is identified as 21-year-old Aaron Stapleton. And THV's BJ Steed is joining us now on this story. You've been looking at it. Give us the latest here.
Well, Craig, it turns out he was just a friend of one of the people involved, and it just seemed like he was in the wrong place at the wrong time in this case.
Is he going to be okay?
Oh, that's the problem. We don't know his condition right now. He is at a Memphis hospital.
And what about the motive here, BJ?
Well, reports from both police and the witnesses conclude that it all stemmed from money, and that what started via internet ended in a face-to-face altercation.
There was a guy right over here where the sign is, laying on the ground burning.
Marcy Carroll is still in awe at what she witnessed early Wednesday morning.
Who could do this to somebody?
The Hot Springs resident says she and her husband were inside when someone set an unidentified man on fire in this McDonald's parking lot next to her home.
I just live like catty corner from McDonald's right down here.
Police reports point to this man, 21-year-old Aaron Stapleton, as the suspect. But Officer Courtney Kaiser of the Hot Springs PD claims the victim shouldn't have been Stapleton's target.
He was having an argument with a Philip Paulette. Both subjects mutually agreed to hash out their arguments and meet at a local McDonald's. Paulette had brought his friends.
The argument started brewing 3 months ago via Facebook.
At that time, Stapleton had a lighted cigarette lighter, and it ignited the flammable liquid.
The victim was then transported to Memphis by med flight, where at this hour his condition is unknown. But witnesses say what appeared to be the man on fire looked like a fireball.
They had this whole road covered in police cars. It was a mess.
An off-duty Garland County deputy who was yards away phoned in the report, which led to Stapleton's arrest even though he tried to escape. And while police continue their investigation, they're also looking into several gunshots heard from the area.
And police also took Paulette, the victim's friend, into custody due to 2 outstanding warrants for his arrest. Those warrants are unrelated to this incident.
Goodness, there sound like there could be a number of charges here, BJ. Where do we stand with Stapleton?
Well, he's charged with battery in the first degree, but of course all that could change depending on how that victim turns out in the hospital.
BJ Steed, thank you.
A THV update tonight as police find 4 of 5 horses stolen from Southern Arkansas University stables. The horses disappeared 2 weeks ago. Authorities found the horses last night in a wooded area more than 100 miles away in Tom, Oklahoma. Police say the 4 horses were malnourished and one of the horses had been spray painted, possibly in an attempt to camouflage it.
She's pretty poor looking, but she's back and she's alive and I can put weight back on her.
The horses are owned by SAU students who are members of the university's nationally competitive collegiate rodeo team. Police are still searching for one horse, a 15-year-old named Credit Card. Conway County deputies pull a man over for following too close and find $1 million worth of marijuana. According to the Petit Jean Country headline, deputies arrested Anthony Watkins on I-40 near Plummerville after a drug-sniffing dog alerted them drugs may be in his truck. Investigators say they found the marijuana inside several U-Haul boxes in the truck. Watkins is out on bond on charges of possession of a controlled substance with purpose to deliver.
Well, the orange barrels and closed lanes are a common sight for commuters along the 430-630 interchange. The Arkansas Highway Transportation Department has now dubbed the construction project as the Big Rock Interchange. Currently, one lane is closed heading north on Shackelford near the interchange and will remain closed through the holidays. Director Scott Bennett reminds commuters to be cautious of possible lane closures as the holiday season approaches.
But the traffic patterns that are out there now are going to stay, and just to remind everybody that, I mean, we realize there's going to be more traffic out there this holiday season.
Now, Bennett says the Big Rock Interchange project is expected to be completed by the year 2014. While construction continues, many people wonder what the final product will look like. Well, according to the Transportation Department, the proposed changes will greatly improve traffic conditions in every direction. THV's Jessica Duff and Wes Moore join us now to take us through the 6 ways the interchange will change. Jessica, Wes.
Thanks a lot, Don. Jessica Duff joins me. If you commute into Little Rock from Saline County, from Conway, from West Little Rock, you've seen the changes, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. The changes are coming.
That's right, they are. And we're going to talk you through each direction of where you're coming in from, starting with down in Saline County. This is where you come in from every day.
I see this all the time. I'm ready for that change to happen.
So you're coming up 430 North right now. Your merge onto 630 is going to be heading into downtown. Is going to be fairly similar to what it's already been.
I see 2 lanes there.
The
That's
difference,
nice.
yes, you will be seeing there's going to be 2 lanes merging on and 2 lanes that will thus be merging later on. We'll explain that in just a little bit. So if you are downtown and heading back home, so now you're on 630 heading west, the way that you get onto 430 is going to be a split on your left-hand side. You're going to be going up and over an overpass. So
no
this
more
is
going to the red light or looping all the way around.
Exactly.
You're going
None
up
of that
and over. That
running
is nice.
into other people, and you're good to head back home and deal with the traffic down by Kern and Glen. Now, if you're coming from the opposite direction, this is coming from Conway or from Maumelle. You're heading on 430 south, heading into downtown onto 630 west. Your route is going to be fairly similar as what it's always been, except again, this overpass, just like what you have coming home from heading into Benton. This is going to be the same thing, except you're going to go underneath right there. And this is the merge that you will see when you come in. Our news director, Chuck Malden, you might run into him as you're jumping on.
Mix master all of a sudden now with all these, and this is the way back home for those.
And this is the way back home for those folks heading home to Maumelle or to Conway. Same as what it's always been in terms of your right-hand exit there.
We got 2 lanes that are going north on 430.
Right, which we've gotten to experience.
We had that for a little while, and then they closed
it back down. For the past couple weeks.
So yeah, that'd
now,
be
if
nice.
you live in West Little Rock and you're heading down into downtown Little Rock right now, you know you've got that stoplight right there. Okay, now instead of jumping up and going straight ahead, you're going to be automatically going up onto a semi-overpass.
Over Shackelford.
So you're going to be going over Shackelford. You'll go underneath the 430 bridge right there that we're seeing, and then it raises all the way up. And this is where all these cars are merging on together. So it'll be different for a while for those folks to get used to all the merging. The final one is going to be coming home. You're going to, if you're wanting to get into West Little Rock, you're going to stay on the ground. That's what you need to remember. You're going to be on the bottom the whole time. If you want to go to 430 or 630, you take those routes we mentioned earlier. But if you want to head into West Little Rock, you're going to stay in the very bottom low, and you can take your right or left onto Shackelford, or you can go straight on into West Little Rock into Chenal. So it sounds confusing, and you're thinking, that's big city, but that's exactly what Little Rock is turning into right now.
It's nice, and it's going to take care of a big mess.
Yes, and we'll have all these videos on our website also as well.
I mean, we'll keep watching them. Guys, back to you.
All right, guys, thanks. Tonight, good news from the Arkansas roadways when it comes to drunk driving incidents. Mothers Against Drunk Driving released their campaign to eliminate drunk driving report today, and Arkansas scored 4 out of 5 stars. What are those stars for, and how do we compare to the rest of the nation? THV's Lauren Clark breaks it down.
Road signs blink as warnings and reminders of the law. In a report released Wednesday, Mothers Against Drunk Driving gives Arkansas 4 stars out of 5 in their campaign to eliminate drunk driving. Teresa Ballou with MAD says our state is doing lots of things right.
Since the start of the campaign to eliminate drunk driving, Arkansas enacted a trauma system statewide so that in the event that someone is in a car crash, they're more likely to get appropriate care.
The 4 stars Arkansas earned: requiring ignition interlocks for all drunk driving offenders, sobriety checkpoints, enhancing penalties for DUI child endangerment, and utilizing our administrative license revocation, meaning the immediate confiscation of the offender's driver's license.
Our administrative license revocation law in Arkansas has been one of the top-rated laws in the state. As a matter of fact, one year, Arkansas was the only state to receive an A rating for administrative license revocation.
Still, the star we lack is allowing people to refuse sobriety tests.
A no-refusal policy is this. If you are stopped and suspected of drunk driving, you can refuse to take tests that are administered by law enforcement.
Currently, only the Benton County Sheriff's Department implements this policy. Still, Arkansas ranks above the national average, and Ballou advises with the approaching holiday season to be extra cautious in making your plans and watch out for those other drivers.
It's a good news thing to look at today, but we still have a long ways to go.
In Little Rock, Lauren Clark, today's THV.
5 states received 5 stars. They are Nebraska, Kansas, Utah, Arizona, and Illinois. A scary statistic, since according to MAD, this year alone, 10,839 people will die in drunk driving crashes. That's 1 every 50 minutes.
Well, it is Wednesday, which means we are on our THV in Your Town tour, coming to see you in your town. And tonight we are live in Pine Bluff, which is where we find Ed Buckner and Pam Bacom. Hey, guys.
Hey there, Liz. That's right. We're at Regional Park here in Pine Bluff for the Enchanted Land of Lights and Legends tour. What a beautiful light display that we have out here, and it feels a little bit like Christmas as well.
It does. It's a little chilly.
A little cool.
Well, that's not the only reason why we're out here, Ed.
Right.
We want you to get involved with our THV community websites and tell us what's happening in your town, and that's why we are doing this tour, and to let you know how easy it is to really contribute to the process.
And no one knows that better than Carol Mendenhall, a member of the Hope Coalition. She's one of our community website contributors as well, and we can't thank you enough for that. Thanks so much for being here and braving the cool weather.
Oh, great. It's great to be here. A little bit nippy, but that's fine.
Carol, can you tell us a little bit about the Hope Coalition and how using our community websites really help your goal?
Hope Community Coalition is a substance abuse prevention coalition. We work with the children to give them information about refusal skills and staying away from drugs. And your website has been a wonderful venue for us to get the word out that we exist and the programming that we have with the children here in Jefferson County.
So a great marketing tool, advertising tool, right?
It is an excellent marketing tool.
All right.
She just summed it all up right there. That's what we want you to do with our community website, to go on and tell us what's going on. Thank you so much again for being here.
Quite welcome.
We have a lot more coming up from Pine Bluff. Lots of interesting stuff to pass on to you, along with your forecast, which I guess you could say was a bust today. Anyway, I'll try to explain that when we come back.
You're watching The Difference. Today's THV at 6.
And welcome back to Pine Bluff, THV in your town at Regional Park for the Enchanted Land of Lights and Legends display. Beautiful behind me. Want to thank McLean's RV Center. Isn't it fun, Pam, riding in an RV?
I didn't ride, but yeah.
Oh, you didn't even, that's right. The rest of the, Pam has her own people, but the rest of the crew rode in the RV. Want to thank McLean's for that, and Little Caesars Pizza for feeding the crew. Wonderful time here in Pine Bluff. The weather didn't quite work out like I thought it would last night, but regardless, it's okay. A little bit of light showers in southern Arkansas. Let's start you off with the satellite perspective, and you will see quite a few clouds around, a few showers again in South Arkansas. I thought most of this activity would be gone before noon. Redevelopment as that upper trough swings on through, and it's swinging through a little farther south than I earlier thought. Let's look at some rainfall totals. These are 2-day rain totals from this last big event. Calamine up in Sharp County, over 7 inches of rain total. Mountain View, Stone County, 6.47. Clinton, 6 1/4. Des Arc, almost 6 inches. And the Little Rock area picked up 5.37 inches of rain. Again, shattering the old record. In one day, we picked up almost 5 inches of rain. It's currently cloudy and 55 degrees, the dew point at 32, so the air's drying out. Humidity only 42%, the wind out of the north at 10, and that pressure is really beginning to rise a little bit as the low pulls away. It's at 30-10 right now. State temperatures elsewhere, a lot of 50s, 40s up to the north, 43 Harrison, 52 in Stuttgart, 53 in Pine Bluff, where we are right now. Let's take you in a little bit closer to see central Arkansas temperatures, and again, no big changes. When you have clouds like this, the temperatures don't stray much, and you can see they're all within a degree or two of each other. The Village at 52 and Hazen a little cooler at 51. Tonight's forecast calls for a low of 35. The winds are going to stay up just enough, I think, to keep a frost from developing and also keep us from dropping below freezing. Tomorrow may not be another story tomorrow night, but 35 the low. Tomorrow's high 57 with sunshine and temperatures, again, a little bit cooler than they should be this time of the year, but still seasonal, I'd say. And the rest of your extended outlook looks pretty good as we get toward the weekend. Then some changes to talk about. We have wind and clouds on Saturday. The rain should hold off till after the Razorback game. And then the rain really moves in on Sunday and lasts into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The good news here, Pam, is that I think the rain and storms will be out by the Thanksgiving holiday. So if you'd have it one way or the other, I think we'd rather have a sunny Thanksgiving, but it looks very unsettled next week. Now, you had a chance to go to some of these really cool places in Pine Bluff recently.
Okay, you're going to really like this next one because I know as a meteorologist and a science nerd, you're really going to like this next destination. Yes.
Nerd?
Nerd or dork, whatever.
I'll take dork,
you can pick whatever you want.
It's fine.
Well, it's the Governor Mike Huckabee Delta River Nature Center, and it showcases the state's amazing wildlife, along with the rattlesnakes, fish, and interactive exhibits. The center sits on 130 acres of land, so you can go on a nature walk. And another unique feature, the facility director, Eric Maynard, says it is home to the state's largest aquarium.
Here, it's 22,000 gallons. And it's split up into a larger tank and a smaller tank off to the side, but it is all native fish that come out of the Arkansas River.
And like many of the museums here, it is also free and it's open every day except for Mondays. Lots more coming up after the break.
Stay with us. A lot of fun.
Today's THV is sponsored by Bedford Camera and Video, by Middleton Heat and Air, and by ARBestChevy.com.
We know that kids play games, but there's one game killing some of our children. It is called the choking game or passing out game, and in the last 5 years, 3 Arkansas teens have died. THV's Stephanie Bryant explores this game in a THV Extra tonight. She joins me now with a preview of this. Pretty frightening.
It is, Dawn, and we first heard about this game. We were made aware of it when a concerned parent alerted us that this was happening at her child's school. Now, I'd never heard about it, but apparently it's been around for ages. Children, kids literally choking themselves to get a rush or high. Now, we won't tell you how it's done. There are several different ways, but the problem is they're seizing, falling, and hitting their head on sharp objects.
You've obviously been investigating this. What other medical problems can occur here, Stephanie?
Well, besides the seizing, concussions, broken limbs from the fall, and ultimately death.
Well, describe what you learned in terms of what happens to the body when children play this so-called game.
Well, blood supply is immediately cut off, killing brain cells that you can never get back.
Is there a particular group that you learned maybe more likely to take part in this activity?
Well, it knows no race or color, but mainly it's boys between the ages of 9 and 16, those in middle school. The problem is that it's happening in schools. And here's what one young boy says he saw.
We saw people just like choking each other out, having seizures.
That's 13-year-old Walker Strasner describing what he's seeing at his school here in Central Arkansas. We'll have more on what his peers are doing, plus advice to parents on what they can do to protect their kids.
All right, definitely a story parents don't need to miss. Thanks, Stephanie. We look forward to that tonight. Liz?
All right, thank you guys. For almost 3 months, we have been traveling around Arkansas, visiting your towns and finding out what makes them so great. And tonight, we are in Pine Bluff, where we find Ed and Pam tonight, guys.
Hey there, Liz. Indeed, Regional Park in Pine Bluff, the place to be tonight, where lots of folks will be headed out. It's the enchanted lands of lights and legends.
Yes.
How cool.
It is cool.
I've been practicing.
I know, I can't remember it at all. Well, this is the 15th annual event in its 15th year, and joining us now to talk to us more about this is Greg Gustek with the Convention and Visitors Bureau. Greg, can you tell us how popular this place is?
This has become the largest drive-through of holiday lights in the state of Arkansas. We took over that title about 5 or 6 years ago. Last year's attendance was over 108,000 people who drove through the park.
So people coming from everywhere?
We used to have a survey in our brochure a couple of years ago just for me to know where to advertise and market it, and we had 23 states and 212 different cities in Arkansas that represented on the brochure list. So that told us where I need to advertise.
Great for the economy then.
Great for the economy because people come in to see our lights and they'll go shopping, they'll eat at our restaurants, and that's what it's all about, tourism.
All right, can you give us some of the details? Is it free, and when does it run?
It's free admission. They're right here, it's right behind us is actually where the volunteers stand. We have community volunteers that volunteer every night and collect the donations. But it's open every night until December 31st from 6 to 9 p.m. As I said, it is free, is what makes it very, very special.
All right, can you also talk to us about something that's also very important to Pine Bluff, Lake, how do I pronounce it again?
Lake Saracen.
Saracen,
yeah,
okay.
we changed the name of our lake a couple of years ago. We've been Lake Pine Bluff for years and years and years. I'm a hometown boy, so I remember fishing on Lake Pine Bluff. But we came up with a new place down there called Saracen Landing, which y'all have filmed, I know. And we got real excited about that and decided to change the name and called it Lake Saracen. Then we got even more excited realizing how many events and festivals and weddings and everything you could possibly be surprised happened there. And then there's pictures. We turned around and decided we're going to build a trail. So now we're building a Lake Saracen trail around it, and it'll be approximately 5 miles when it's through. It's a 6-phase setup, and we've got 2 of them completed, and we're in the third phase right now building it.
Greg, thanks so much for being here. That's another great reason to come down here.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you what, and coming up, we'll have even more wonderful places you can tour and visit here in Pine Bluff.
Right, arts to history. There are a lot of really neat things. We'll have that coming up in just a bit.
Looking forward to that. Thank you, guys.
Westmore joins us with sports, and Arkansas can pick up its 10th win for its 2nd straight year. Incredible.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since they've had back-to-back 10-win seasons.
How
I mean, a long time.
How long?
Don Scott was still in high school the last time they had back-to-back 10
Wow.
wins. 1988, 1989. A long time ago. Long time
She's
ago.
going to come running in here.
I was in high school, too. Coming up next, we'll hear from one of the captains of that team. Plus, Matt Harris breaks down Tremaine Thomas's interception. They had the pom-poms waving at Reynolds Razorback Stadium the other night. They'll have them this week at War Memorial Stadium. 50,000 pom-poms will await the Razorback fans when they get to their seats Saturday. The chairman of the War Memorial Stadium Commission says he wants the stadium to look impressive for CBS.
Well, Coach Petrino has taken this program to an elite level, and War Memorial Stadium and the people in Central Arkansas have to understand that it is a privilege for us to host the 2 games here on an annual basis.
Hopefully, the Razorbacks will put on a great offensive show. Arkansas's offense has been clicking the last few weeks. One of the reasons why, the return of the running attack. Michael Smith goes one-on-one with one of his former coaches.
What finally clicked with the offensive line and the running backs for them just to have such a big game?
Well, I think, Michael, as you know, I mean, we're only as good as the guys in front of us, and our offensive line is really starting to come together. They're starting to get some confidence, and, you know, we're starting to have some space to run. And so our guys are good in space. And the other thing is we're creating some yards for ourselves. We call it bull yards, as you well know. And Dennis had about 60 bull yards on Saturday, which is yards after contact. And so really the combination of good blocking and some breaking some tackles has, you know, let us get to where we're averaging about 4.6 a carry, which is second in the SEC. So that's good.
In the preparation for this week, do you see any openings in the Mississippi State D-line or defense that just say, okay, this will be a good play to run. I know we'll be able to get great yardage out of that?
Well, you know, you look at Mississippi State defensively, the first thing that you notice is they've got 2 inside guys that are very good. Their 3 technique and their 1 technique are players that played against us a year ago. In the secondary, they all return who played against us a year ago. The new part is the linebacking core. We've never seen these 3. Last year it was probably the strength of their team. I think 2 of them are playing on Sunday now. So, you know, it'll be anxious to see how good of football players they are. They're a good defensive football team. We've got our hands full, and we'll have to play our best game of the year to score points.
THV is the home of the Hogs the next 2 weeks. Arkansas, Mississippi State kickoff at 2:30 on THV. We've got you covered before and after the game. Our Hog Zone pregame show runs from 1 till 2. When the game is over, stick around for the postgame show. We're scheduled to be live from 6 until 7. Then we'll wrap up the day with Hog Zone Super Saturday from 10:35 to 11:05. Added up, that's about 6.5 hours of Razorback football. Will be a part of Hog Zone Super Saturday, our pregame show, but he joins us for Chalk Talk. We're going to talk about Arkansas, Tennessee. Arkansas leads 21-7 right before the first half, but Tennessee is driving. They can make this an interesting game. A touchdown here, and it's 21-14. They're on the 5-yard line. Jake Beckett with a little pressure. Tennessee throws a pass and is picked off by Tremaine Thomas. Matt, what worked on this play? Tremaine did a great job.
You know, sometimes you just need someone to make a great play, and that's what Tremaine Thomas, the senior safety, did. He plays great football. I love the way he does it. He's a heads-up guy. It's a goal line defense or red zone defense. What they did was actually a great offensive play. They tried to seclude this linebacker on this slot receiver. Speed says that he should be able to run inside and beat that receiver. That's what they were trying to do. They get this running back to run just a quick now route, just to get Jerry Franklin out of there so that quarterback has a window to pass through.
This area right here is wide
right there.
open.
That's where he wants to go, right there in the middle of the field. It's the easiest pass for a quarterback. He can really see what's going on. Now, this receiver, Tremaine, right here, you can see him in the film. The corner has outside leverage, meaning he's not lined up inside the guy. He's lined up outside looking in at the quarterback because he knows if this guy tries to make a slant route, a dig, or a post, he's got Tremaine Thomas sitting right there. And that's exactly why this guy plays with a lot of confidence, because he has him there.
He's got help.
Exactly. But when this guy ran in and then back out, Tremaine let him back go to the corner who has outside leverage. That's his cuts. The outside cuts he's responsible for. Inside cuts he's responsible for. Tremaine's been there before. He kept a cool head. He knew as soon as this guy broke out, something is coming back in. That's a rule in defense. If there's something deep like that, there's always something coming across. If this guy breaks out, there's always something coming in. And this slot receiver here tried to one-on-one matchup with Hightower, went in, out, and in, which is almost unheard of in the goal line. You can't make a lot of moves because Jake Beckett put a lot of pressure on that quarterback, forced a bad throw. Tremaine Thomas came over, recognized that this out route, or in route, turned it back into it.
Look at that video, and I look at this video and I see Jake Beckett making the play here. Without the pressure, without this weak throw, Tremaine may not be able to get there.
Absolutely. That's the point of the great defense. It all starts right here. I'm a defensive back, but these four guys right here, that's how your defense, win or lose, that's what is predicated on the success.
Tremaine gets the INT. Jake gets a pat on the back.
Jake gets a high
good
five.
Job.
Thanks, Jake.
Good job, Jake. Good job, Matt. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Wes. Well, up next, we have some Hero Central updates. One, how you guys really stepped up to help some folks in need. Plus, UCA officials speak out after reports there were immigration investigators on campus yesterday. That's next when today's THV at 6 continues.
You're watching The Difference. Today's THV at 6.
UCA officials tonight responding to media reports that federal immigration agents were on campus yesterday, calling the visit routine and saying there is no major alarm. UCA tells us most semesters ICE investigators have to come check on students and their visas. They said anytime an international student drops out, they have to come investigate and make sure they didn't drop out and use an education visa to try and stay in the U.S. Officials say the visit was not related to them recently demoting Alex Chen from VP of International Programs while they review that international program. Some good news tonight for Arkansans facing rising health care costs. Those of you taking advantage of an Arkansas federally funded program for those with pre-existing conditions will soon see a decrease in policy costs. Take Care Arkansas announced today rates for policyholders will drop by at least 5% and up to 17% immediately. Take Care Arkansas is offered to those with pre-existing health conditions who have been without health insurance for at least the past 6 months. Eligibility isn't based on income, but enrollment is limited on availability of federal funding.
Hero Central story with a happy ending. Last week, Major Taylor of the Salvation Army was on this show in desperate need of a building that could serve as their Angel Tree distribution center. Proud to announce they got one. It's near the airport. It's 5 times bigger than they actually need and will more than serve the needs of Arkansans. Interested in joining me to work in that center before the holidays? Go to our website and we'll tell you how to get involved. Today's THV.com, of course, our address. And we may have set a record for standing ovations at the Peabody Hotel today. This was the annual luncheon put on by the Association of Fundraising Professionals. Individuals, organizations, and corporations were all recognized for their contributions to public service in Arkansas. Oh, it's also National Philanthropy Day. Coincidence? No. It was on purpose. Time now to head back out live to Ed and Pam with a look at what's ahead down in Pine Bluff. Hey, guys.
Hey, Craig, coming up, we're going to tell you how Pine Bluff is working to keep arts and history alive in this area.
Yeah, I had a chance to visit some of those places. Very cool, very neat. We're going to show you coming up.
Today's THV is sponsored by Wilson's Home Improvement.
And welcome back to Pine Bluff. We're at Regional Park for the Enchanted Land of Lights and Legends. It just kicked off. There's cars, there's folks driving behind us taking a look at what is the state's largest drive-through display. But you know what? That's not all there is to see and do in Pine Bluff. I know, Pam, you found lots of neat stuff.
Yep, whether you're traveling to Pine Bluff by yourself, with some adults or children, you might want to check out the Arts Center. The Arts and Science Center of Southeast Arkansas is strategically placed here in Pine Bluff so that people in the Arkansas in this area can actually enjoy it. It's full of arts and science galleries and has a performance arts center. Currently, there is an architecture exhibit and geology exhibit. Executive Director Lenore Schultz of the center says it is great for people of all ages.
Absolutely. We try to establish something for little kids if they're here, the older brothers and sisters, the parents. We have events that are just targeted towards children and events that are targeted just towards adults.
The center has a jazz program every Friday at 5 o'clock, and there's a Christmas play coming up. And another free museum tourists should stop by is the Pine Bluff Jefferson County Historical Museum. Come see a glimpse of the past with items dating back to the 1800s. Native American weapons and pottery, old transportation, and sports trophies are just some of the hundreds of items inside this old railroad depot.
The early Arkansas Pine Bluff bands, the early Ben Pearson Bow and Arrow Factory. We do have a room with a lot of older dolls as well as a military room.
The volunteer says that they are also planning a Civil War reenactment.
And of course, another great thing that Pine Bluff has going on is UAPB, and of course, it's wonderful students. You guys come on in here. Joining us now to talk more about that is Student Government President Kent Broughton. Y'all come stand right back here, right here. We got something special from these young ladies here in a minute. Y'all just get ready. Warm up, okay? Are you stretching? Kent, what makes UAPB so great?
Well, Ed, it's truly an amazing university, diverse, the way that they're culturally emerging you into becoming a leader, the one-on-one personality in the classroom setting is phenomenal. I've been there 4 years, we graduated in May with a political science degree.
Congratulations.
And going on to graduate school, so it truly has prepared me to be the next leader.
And Kent, you also brought a special treat for us. Who are these ladies?
I did. I brought the Alpha Road chapter, Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated. Will you please come up and do your cheer?
All right, and as we head to break, we're going to have them do a quick performance for us. So go right ahead, ladies.
Take it away, ladies.
Who are you rooting for? UAPB. Who are you rooting for? UAPB. Who are you rooting for?
UAPB.
Who are you rooting for?
I know this song.
UAPB. Who are you rooting for?
UAPB.
Who are you rooting for?
Welcome back to Pine Bluff. It's been a cool afternoon, but very seasonal, actually. Let's take a look at the almanac numbers from today. Obviously, it was on the cool side. The sun came out very briefly. Rainfall, the big story. Of course, you add in all the rain together, we picked up well over 5 inches the past 2 days. High temperatures didn't make it much out of the 50s. We're still cloudy in 55. Dew point's low. The wind's still kind of brisk out of the north at 12, but the pressure's rising. Right now, it's at 30-10. Let's take a look at the hunting forecast for hunters out there. Unfortunately, the wildlife level activity is supposed to be low tomorrow, but there is a peak right around sunrise, just after sunrise from 6 to 8. and sunrise is at 6:44. Northeast winds tomorrow 5 to 10 miles an hour. Look at low temperatures falling tonight. You'll see most of the state dropping well down into the 30s. Northwest Arkansas below freezing easily, but central Arkansas hovering, I think, just above freezing. Go ahead and hit that button one more time for me, Shayla. You'll see temperatures rise into tomorrow afternoon. Not all that warm, actually, another mid-50s to upper 50s kind of day. All right, here's tonight's forecast coming up. I'm going with a low at the airport of 35 degrees. With some clearing later on this evening, north winds at 10. Tomorrow's forecast, a high of 57 with the sunshine returning. There you see 57 and sunny. Not a bad looking day at all, a little bit below average. And your extended outlook shows more rain moving in late in the weekend, but I think Saturday looks windy and a little bit dry for the game. At least rain chances holding off till later in the afternoon. Right now, back to you, Wes.
All right, thanks a lot, Ed. Every Wednesday night at 6, we unveil the highschoolsports.net play of the week. This week, I found a good one. It comes from Central High School's game against Harbor. The Tigers' Marvell Harris produces the highlight run. Harris had a big game running for 225 yards and 2 touchdowns. He doesn't score on this one, but he broke 5 tackles. It took 6 guys to bring him down finally. It was a dandy. Central came up short, but I'll tell you what, this run is worthy of our highschoolsports.net play of the week. Devon McClure has provided a lot of highlights for Jacksonville High School. Today, the outfielder signed a letter of intent to play baseball at the University of Arkansas and Dave Van Horn. McClure is rated as the 56th best prospect by Baseball America. Van Horn describes him as a very athletic outfielder. He also says there's a lot of pro interest in Devon, and they hope they can get him to campus. Devon says today was a special day.
I chose Arkansas, man, because I've always wanted to play there, and I get to stay close to home. My parents can come watch me play. It's convenient for them. I've been like Arkansas's coach from looking since I was in the 9th grade, so I went on and signed. I ain't got to worry about it anymore. I can still play baseball worry-free. That's where I want to play at, my hometown.
Dave Van Horn got him from the other colleges. Now he has to steal him away from the Major League Baseball draft. Coming up next, we'll talk a little football. The Red Wolves had a huge win over Louisiana Lafayette last Saturday. This Saturday, they'll try to stay undefeated in conference play when they travel to Middle Tennessee. Red Wolves had a big win last week, but it's time to move on to the next game. Joining us now via Skype, wide receivers coach Tyler Siskey. Coach, what's the attitude been like up there at practice this week? Because I could imagine it would be hard after such a huge game last week to get the emotions in check and get the focus back on the next game. Have y'all had that problem this week?
No, not at all. Our young men are very hungry to win. You know, it's one thing that we keep pushing with our young men that doesn't matter who we play. We just got to take care of ourselves and take care of the next game.
Coach, you got to love your wide receivers. You guys are putting on an air show week in and week out. What's been the key to y'all's success?
Well, I think health. You know, we went through the first part of the season and we had a couple guys out with injury, just nagging stuff. And really when we got into conference, we got everybody back healthy and we're able to get a good rotation going and get guys back in the flow of the game, and really think that's probably the big key thing and allowing us to be a little bit more consistent.
Coach, it seems like a different receiver is stepping up each week for you guys. Last week it was Stockmeyer with a couple of touchdowns. Are these guys really pushing each other to be the best?
You know, it really doesn't matter. We really don't have a go-to guy. It really depends on what the defense is going to give us. You know, some weeks they roll the coverage to one guy and it allows the other side to be open and vice versa. Really just, depends on what the defense is going to give us is where we're going to go with the ball.
Coach, with you guys, perfect in conference. It was a big game last week. You're getting national recognition. It sounds like it's got to be a fun time up there. What's it like in Jonesboro, Arkansas State right now?
A lot of excitement. You know, we had Saturday night had the real big win against Louisiana Lafayette. Crowd going crazy, players going crazy. Really just very hungry for a lot of wins right now. We're not looking past anyone. Looking forward to Middle Tennessee this weekend. We're taking it one day at a time, one game at a time, and understand that in order for us to get where we want to go, we have to win these next 2 games, and it's got to start Saturday against Middle Tennessee.
Sounds like a great game plan. Coach, thank you for your time. Best of luck against Middle Tennessee.
Again, a wonderful time in Pine Bluff. Thank you to the community of Pine Bluff. Also, thanks to McLean's RV. What a great ride. And, of course, Little Caesars.
And we'll be in Hot Springs in 2 weeks. And remember, the news is always on today'sTHV.com.
Bye.